Greetings everybody, and welcome back to episode 21 of Extreme Evocast, an all-purpose Pokemon podcast where we talk about news, trivia, and everything related to Pokemon. Happy holidays! May I be the first to say happy holidays, and more specifically, Merry Christmas. If you celebrate Christmas, of course, and if you are listening to this on the day of release, Merry Christmas. I hope you all are having or have had an amazing holiday season. I know I certainly will, because of course I'm recording this in advance, so I don't know how my Christmas is going or how it will go, because obviously time doesn't work that way. You don't need me to tell you that. I hope everyone's having a good day so far, though. Whenever you are listening to this, may it be on Christmas or just any other day. Today is the day where we are going to finish. I say our, and we, like there's multiple people here. Today is the day where I'm going to be finishing my review of Pokemon Sword and Shield. And because it is the Christmas season, I'm going to keep this episode pretty short, not too long. I don't think you would blame me, or anyone would blame me for that. I don't have a lot of time to record or prepare because I've been busy at home with the holidays and stuff. So I'm just going to wrap up what I have been talking about for the past 3 episodes, and then next episode we can get started on more Pokemon things, really go in depth with news. I'm not going to talk about news today, but I am going to just finish up my review and give my final conclusion of Pokemon Sword and Shield, what I think about it, everything else that I didn't talk about, basically stuff like that, so we can get back to normal Pokemon stuff. But first, before we get into that, before we wrap up my feelings about Pokemon Sword and Shield, I'm going to do Random Pokemon of the Week, everybody's favorite segment where we talk about a random Pokemon every week, and or every episode. And this episode's Pokemon is Cloyster. Cloyster is number 91, one of the original 151, and it is the Bivalve Pokemon. It is a dual-type Water-Ice Pokemon introduced in Generation 1. It evolves from Shelter when exposed to a Water Stone. It is a 50-50 male-female ratio. It's 4'11". I mean, I didn't expect it to be very tall or very big, but it's pretty sizable. 1.5 meters, by the way. It is also 292 pounds. Sorry, not 2.92 pounds. Jesus Christ, 132.5 kilograms. I mean, yeah, it's Cloyster. It's a pretty popular Pokemon. Pretty infamous for its suggestive demeanor. I'm not going to say anything about that because this is a family-friendly show. But if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. But yeah, I mean, Cloyster, other than that, I really do like Cloyster. I think because it opens up. Its whole thing is that it's like a bivalve or like a clam that opens up sideways, which is obviously something that clams don't normally do. Let's read some Pokedex entries. This is from the original Red, Blue, Yellow. When attacked, it launches its horns in quick volleys. Its innards have never been seen. Wow. A little bit of mystery there. For protection, it uses its harder-than-diamond shell. It also shoots spikes from its shell. Its shell is so hard it can even withstand a bomb. No one ever seen what's inside a shell. No one ever? Really? You think somebody would get curious and do a little bit of experimenting? This is from Gold and Silver. Once it slams its shell shut, it is impossible to open, even by those with superior strength. Cloyster that live in seas with harsh tidal currents grow large, sharp spikes on their shells. It swims in the sea by swallowing water and then jetting it out towards the rear. The Cloyster shoots spikes from its shell using the same system. Like a real clam, except for the spikes part. Fire Red and Leaf Green is the same as Red and Blue. It fights by keeping its shell tightly shut for protection and shooting spikes to repel foes. Wow. Wow. Sword and Shield uses the same one from Gold and Silver. Interesting. What else about Shelter? Or Cloyster, sorry. It has a 100% chance of holding a silver leaf in the original games. Introduced in Generation 2? What? This must be wrong. So in red, blue, and yellow, it has a 100% chance of holding a silver leaf. But a silver leaf was introduced in Generation 2. It sells for 500 gold. 500 Poké Dollars. Why did I say gold? I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons too much. What is the deal with that? How does that work? Oh, excuse me? Oh, hold on. There's an asterisk. This Pokemon must be traded to a Generation 2 game in order for the item to appear. Are you telling me that if you catch a Pokemon from red, blue, and yellow, it has a 100% chance of holding an item, but the item is only available to you if you trade it to Generation 2? Did they plan that? Did they know that they were going to be making Generation 2 early on? And it was like, hey, what if we include this Pokemon, all right, hear me out, that holds a move, or holds an item, that's only worth like 500 gold. It's not even that good of an item. It has nothing to do with the Pokemon. And if you trade it over to this new game that hasn't even been created yet, that's the only way that you can get it. Okay, sounds weird, but I guess, like, that's such a weird thing. I don't understand why that's a thing. Anyway, Cloyster is tied with Mega Slowbro for the highest base defense stat of all water-type Pokemon. Cool. Cloyster and its pre-evolution share their category with the name Clamperl. They are both known as the bivalve Pokemon. Wow. So cool. Also, I really like the sort of, not theory, but like the meme that Ghastlies are just dead Cloysters because they're big, their head looks the same. I really enjoy Cloyster. I think it's a cool Pokemon. Like, it's got its like head inside of the clam. I know you don't need me to tell you that, but like, I don't know. I think its design is really cool. Even after all this time and being oversaturated with Generation 1, I still think Cloyster's a really cool Pokemon. I enjoy its design. I think it's really cool. It's shiny. See, what's interesting about Cloyster to me is that Cloyster was one of the first shiny Pokemon I ever got. It was the second shiny Pokemon that I ever hunted for. I had gotten random shiny Pokemon before that, but Cloyster was the first one. I guess Shelder technically was the first one that I ever hunted for, or the second one that I ever hunted for, and I did it in X and Y with chain fishing, and I was super happy and proud that I got one, even though chain fishing in X and Y is like the easiest way to get shinies in the world. So looking back on it, it's not a very good accomplishment, but I was happy nonetheless. I was young. It was like X and Y had just come out. I had just beaten the game, and I'm like, I'm gonna shiny hunt. And like the second one I did was just like chain fishing, and I got a Shelder, and I named it something extremely cursed, but I'm not gonna say it on stream because it's not family friendly. Because I was a kid, or at least I was younger then, and I was stupid. Anyway, Cloyster's shiny. I mean, it's just blue. Like, what else can I say? I think this is a situation where I like the earlier ones more than the one the 3D games, because in the old games, in Generation 3 and up, okay, actually no, hold on a minute. So in Generation 2, it was like a pink, because it was like they couldn't really make like a blue. All right, so I'm gonna excuse that. It looks okay. It just looks like a lighter, more saturated version of its normal counterpart, but we're not gonna worry about that. Generation 3 and had a very dark blue, or like a navy blue, almost very similar to the color that they had in the 3D games. But then in Diamond and Pearl and Black and White, it's like a much lighter blue, and it looks a lot better. And then in 3D games, it became just back to the navy color. So I'm gonna say that this is so weird. Okay, I'm giving this Pokemon 3 different shiny rankings because they're all different. Look at Cloyster's shiny sprites and you'll know what I'm talking about. Generation 2 is a 5 out of 10. It looks okay. It's just like a brighter, more saturated pink. It's cool. Actually, no, I'm going to give it a 6. 6 out of 10. It's okay. It's cool. Generation 3 and the 3D games, I'm giving a 4 out of 10 because it's just blue. But the lighter blue from Diamond and Pearl is pretty good. I'm going to give that one a 7 out of 10. So we have a 6 out of 10, a 7 out of 10, and a 4 out of 10. I think that's like a 5 or like a 6 out of 10 average, something like that. 5.5 maybe. I'm just going to say 6 out of 10 average. It's okay. It's just blue. They could have done something different, but I don't really blame them for doing what they did. Literally nothing else changes except for the blue. Except for the pink turning into, or the purple turning into blue. So that's it. That's all I can talk about. Anyway, let's move on to the Smogon version of Cloyster. And let me just tell you, for anyone who is not knowledgeable of competitive Pokemon, Cloyster is a beast. Well, it's not necessarily a beast. It's just really annoying. And that's the problem. So Cloyster's abilities are Overcoat, Shell Armor, and Skill Link. It is an HP of 50, an attack of 95, a defense of 180, a special attack of 85, a special defense of 45, and a speed of 70. This is written by Tutor Smits. So, Cloyster is an interesting thing because it can actually be used in Uber because of its access to spikes and rapid spin as a suicide lead. So you just you send it in, you put out spikes, you get hit once, and then you put out spikes again. Essentially that's what it is. and you can also use icicle spear if you need to. But I'm going to focus on the more not gimmicky version of it. Well, I say not gimmicky, take that with a side of salt because it's very gimmicky, but you know what I mean. This is written by Tutor Smits. This is a long one, so buckle up. Cloyster's unique access to spikes, Shell Smash, Skill Link, and Icicle Spear allows it to act as a potentially fearsome wall breaker or sweeper that can bypass Substitute and Sturdy, as well as pressuring high rival entry hazard setters such as Nidoqueen and Rhyperior, while still being able to set up hazards itself. Thanks to its enormous defense and use of a Focus Sash, Cloyster is almost guaranteed to set up either Shell Smash or one layer of spikes. While those attributes sound incredibly appealing in RU's more offensive metagame, keep in mind that Cloyster lacked coverage to hit common steel types such as Registeel, Metagross, and Bronzong super effectively. Cloyster's defense is amazing, but its special defense combined with its relatively low unboosted speed usually leaves it threatened out by Pokemon like Roserade, Raikou, Gardevoir, and Mega Sceptile prior to boosting. Its bad defensive typing also leaves it vulnerable to all entry hazards, especially Stealth Rock, and fighting types like Machamp, Toxicroak, and Beware. It also has to be cautious of Taunt from Pokemon such as Mandibuzz, Houndoom, and Vanilluxe, which stop it from setting up spikes and boosting with Cell Smash and making it much less dangerous. Cloyster is also shut down by status conditions, cutting its sweep short. Even if Cloyster does set up, it is easily shut down by priority moves such as Bullet Punch on Machamp and a Cell Rock from Lycanroc Dusk. Cloyster faces a lot of competition for a spot on the team. As a physically offensive water type, it has to compete against Barbaracle and Colossopod, but because both of them have a stronger offensive presence before boosting and are better at pressuring steel types. As a spike setter, Roserade and Colossopod are arguably more appealing because Roserade is faster, applies immediate offensive pressure without having to set up, and has all the tools it needs to pressure entry hazard removers, while Cloyster usually has to resort to Explosion, and Colossopod does not have Cloyster's fighting weakness, so can pressure steel types with Liquidation, has priority in Aqua Jet and First Impression. Jesus. Way to, roast Cloyster, and can pivot with Emergency Exit. Like, wow. Be a little more harsh, would you, poor thing? It's extremely gimmicky just because of the fact that it has Skill Link, which means the Pokemon's multi-hit attacks always hit the maximum number of times. So Icicle Spear, obviously a multi-hit move with Skill Link, and with Cloyster's high-ish attack and boosted attack EVs, it is insanely strong. with Shell Smash, obviously. Shell Smash, boosting its speed and attack, but lowering its defense, which it has plenty of. It really doesn't matter all that much. So Shell Smash is essentially non-detrimental to Cloyster, given that it already has such a high defense anyway, so its skill link just becomes a threat, especially with the Focus Sash. Like, oof. Anyway, its move is Shell Smash, Icicle Spear, Spikes, Explosion, or Rapid Spin. With a Focus Sash, ability skill link, Jolly, which raises speed and lowers special attack, and EVs are 252 attack, 4 special defense, and 252 speed. There's a lot here. If you're interested in learning more about Cloyster, I recommend going to smogon.com and looking up Cloyster, because it's got some cool sets. It's got like a monotype set, which is pretty much the same thing. Battle spot singles. It has a really good chance with Shell Smash and like a King's Rock with the flinching ability. It's pretty good. I like it personally. I like it a lot, and I want to use more of it, even if it is kind of annoying and like universally despised because of its gimmickiness. Kind of like Cincino, but it's like a more powerful Cincino with skill link. Or I guess a lot of Pokemon have access to skill link. Heracross, Mega, Toucannon, Ambipom. That's it. Cincino. That's it. Really. So like 5 Pokemon. That's not bad. Does Heracross Mega really have skill link? Is that what it uses? Really? It becomes skill link. Pin Missile and Rock Blast. I don't think I've ever used a Mega Heracross, so I didn't know that it used skill link as like its main ability. I didn't know that. Its only ability is skill link. I didn't know that, actually. That's very interesting. That's cool. I like it. Anyway, we're going to move on. So now is the time where I'm going to talk briefly about, maybe not briefly, I'm not sure. I can't really speak for myself there because I don't know how much I'm going to be talking about it or go on tangents. We're going to conclude my review. I wanted to have today be sort of a shorter, just kind of relaxing episode for me and also for everyone listening, just because, it's Christmas time. It's the holidays. It's the holiday season. Don't worry too much about listening to podcasts. Go spend time with your family. If you can, go spend time with friends. Go relax. Do something. I was going to say productive, but listen to podcasts if that's what relaxes you. But, spend time with some family. I don't remember the last time that I listened to a podcast on Christmas. So, maybe I can't speak for other people, but, go have a good Christmas time. Go have a good holiday season. Have a good New Year's. Of course, this is the last episode of Evocast of 2019. Of course, I started in 2019 in February, beginning of February. So, only 2 more episodes until the 1-year anniversary. I'm very excited. I'm going to do something special, most likely. And I'm very, very excited about that opportunity. So keep on listening to the podcast weekly, bi-weekly, if you're interested in that. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do something fun. Maybe do like a talk about the podcast, do an episode of my podcast where I talk about my own podcast, just because it's the year and I want to celebrate. But anyway, we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about 6 things today, and then go into a conclusion. We're going to talk about the music, the post-game, the battle tower, the camping, the Pokemon camping, which I don't think I talked about last time. I can't remember. But we're going to talk about it anyway. And things to do after you've completed the game, as well as just a final conclusion for the 7th topic. So first topic is the music. The music, it's so good. I have been listening to a lot of the music in Pokemon Sword and Shield on repeat for the last few weeks. Oh my lord, it's so good. It's already been out. The game's already been out for more than a month now, and the music is so good. Hop's theme is so good. Bede's theme is so good. Marnie's theme is so good. Oh, everyone's theme is so good. The champion theme is really good. The gym leader theme is really good. All the battles are so good. The battle themes are so good. Like I could talk about so many things. Hop's second battle with like the salsa music, Hop's first battle with like sounding like a Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga battle theme song, like it's so good. The music in Pokemon Sword and Shield, they really outdid themselves with the music. I always thought that Sun and Moon's music was lacking a little bit. Like, I think it made up for it because the battle theme and the trainer battle theme, like the wild battle theme and the trainer battle theme, were so good. I kind of just like blew it off and said, oh, the music's great in Sun and Moon, but honestly, it's not too good. Like, I think a lot of the music in Sun and Moon is very forgettable because, like, I can't even really remember like the gym leader music or like the trial captain music, you know what I mean? Or like any of the town music except for Howlua City was really, really good. I remember like the second city you go to with like the training school and stuff. That was okay. But anything else other than that, I don't remember. I mean, maybe it's because I haven't played Sun and Moon in a long time, but like honestly, I can't remember a lot of the music in Sun and Moon. But maybe it's because Sword and Shield just came out. Maybe it's because it was forgettable. I'm not sure, because I can remember a lot of music from the past games, just not Sun and Moon. And I think that's because it wasn't very good. I'm not saying all music in Sword and Sun and Moon was bad. I just think that overall it was lacking a little bit. But compared to Sword and Shield, I think that Sword and Shield is amazing in terms of music. Sorry if I'm like burping a lot. I apologize for that. But Sword and Shield's music is so good. The wild battle theme and the trainer battle theme, two of the most common battle themes, or two of the most common themes in the game, are lacking a little bit, I must say. I'm not extremely fond of them. I don't like really enjoy them all that much. Like, they're okay. They work what they do. They do well what they do, but they're kind of lackluster, which is maybe a good thing. Not a good thing, obviously, but it's different because a lot of the times the battle music and the wild battle music are so iconic. But like they put more focus on the more obscure tracks, like the battle tower theme, all of the different characters themes, the gym, the Elite Four, quote unquote, the champion, like all the music is so good. A few other notable tracks that I think aren't very good is Team Yell could be better. The Team Yell battle, the team battle song is pretty forgettable. Though I will say that Pierre's music, or Pierre, I don't know how you pronounce his name, the Dark Gym is pretty good. They went kind of with like a remixed version of that, and it was okay. I liked it a little bit. The Elite Four was okay. It wasn't great. They tried to do like a remix version of the Gym Leader theme, but they kind of threw out all of the things about the Gym Leader theme that made it good and just like kind of watered it down a little bit, and it wasn't super great. I'm being very critical. All of the music in the game was extremely well made and well composed. Kudos to them for making such an amazing soundtrack. I'm just, putting out there what songs I think were maybe a little bit weak. Like the Gym Leader theme was amazing. Every single one of the three phases, there was the first phase, which is the whole music essentially. And then there's the second phase, which I don't think a lot of people know or talk about because it's my favorite. And it's the second phase is when you are just choosing a Pokemon. And I think a lot of people just skim past it, but they have their own, there's a separate version of the song that arguably is better than the first section of the song, the main section of the song, that plays when you're choosing your Pokemon, and I think it's really good. Obviously, my tastes are different from you. Obviously, everyone is allowed to have different opinions. Maybe you love the Team Yell song. Maybe you love the Team Yell song, is what I just said. Maybe you love the Wild Battle and the Trainer Battle music. More power to you. I just telling you what I think was lackluster about it. But yeah, I mean, and then the third part of the Gym Leader song, oof, so good. The atmosphere that a lot of the songs do in this game with the, with like the chanting and the stadium aesthetic, like the Champion song when everyone started singing and chanting the Hall of Fame music, I almost cried, I think. And in the Gym Leader theme where they're yelling and they're cheering for you when you Dynamax a Pokemon, and in Hop's second theme when you can hear people cheering. It's so good. It's such a good, like, it's so different because it feels like it's important. In the old Pokemon games, it just feels like you go into the gym and you just do it, and nobody cares, nobody watches you, nobody congratulates you at the end, other than like the one dude who gives you a fresh water if you decide to talk to him. It's like, but in this one, everybody knows you. And that is, shown by the people around you talking about you on TV, to talking about you when you walk by them, and also, most importantly, the yelling and the cheering when you battle. It's so good. It is amazing how that makes you feel when you play the game, and it is a great addition, and I hope they just continue doing it for every Pokemon game. Mix it up a little bit, but that sort of aesthetic is so nice. It's so good, and I adore it. A few other notable songs that I'd like to talk about is the Slumbering Weld, with the and of course the music that is accompanied by that, with the post game, yes, but also the battle with Eternatus, and with the legendary dogs. The box duo Zacian and Zamazenta sort of have that like howling as an instrument in the background, and I love it. I wish they did more with that. I love the fact that they use like a sample of a dog howling as a instrument in many songs regarding Zacian and Zamazenta. It is an amazing addition, and it's so good. I love that they did that. It works so well. Overall, I'm gonna give my rating for the music an 8.5 out of 10. I can't quite give it a 9 because a lot of the songs are lacking a little bit, but there's just too many bangers for me to give it an 8. So an 8.5 out of 10 is my final decision for the music. The post game now is where do I even begin? I didn't like the post game. I mean, I thought it was cool. Then again, I did just kind of skim through it. I think that, what is it? I don't even remember their names. Swordward and Shieldbert. I think that they were funny, okay, but I think that they're stupid. I think that was probably one of the worst post games ever. Honestly. Which it's better than a few other games that didn't have a post game at all, but it doesn't compare to the Delta episode, to the Ultra Beast expedition in Sun and Moon, to the islands in Fire Red and Leaf Green, to the Looker stuff in Diamond and Pearl, and all the legendary stuff in Diamond and Pearl. It just doesn't compare. It really just doesn't compare at all. It was so bad. It was just Dynamax battle after Dynamax battle, and it was just so boring. And occasionally you would fight them, and like they had like all steel types, so if you had a fire type Pokemon, you would just destroy them. I don't really even want to talk about it that much, because like it's not worth talking about. It's not very good. I don't think. What else do I say? I don't even remember what happens. Like, I remember kind of, like, I know it's like they were trying to reclaim the throne because they think that Sonia is wrong about everything that she wrote about, and that they can't just like make heroes up, which is the stupidest motivation I've ever heard of in my entire life. And and like you go around and like they're releasing energy, Dynamax energy in the gyms, and you gotta go fight Dynamax Pokemon, and then you fight them, and then you go and you find Zamazenta and Zacian, and the one that you don't get is like angry at you. And the other one comes to save you, and then you catch the other one, and then, it's like, it's stupid. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. I mean, don't not do it. Maybe some people find it entertaining. I thought it was fun, I guess. I just think it was kind of dumb. And I literally I skipped through it because I was just kind of trying to rush through, completing my Pokedex so I could start shiny hunting, so I could get Zacian. And so maybe shame on me for skipping through it, not really reading a lot of the dialogue, but like I could understand what was going on. It was pretty easy too, and I didn't enjoy it all that much. Anyway, next we're going to move on to the Battle Tower. I will maybe hold this off more in depth for another episode because I haven't really done much of the battle tower. I did a little bit of it because you were not required, because I wanted to do most of it. The required amount to get the IV checker in Sword and Shield, which is you have to beat 6 battles in either the single or the double battle formula and get up to like a certain rank, and then you fight Leon, and then you get the IV checker in your box. And I really wanted the IV checker because I was going to be hunting for Pokemon and stuff, and I think I also needed some BP to buy like a Destiny knot so I could also shiny hunt and stuff. So I did do a little bit of battle towering. It was fun. I was a little bit reluctant to do it too much, because I want to wait until I can breed like a very, very good competitive team for the battle tower, and also for like online battles, in Sword and Shield, because I really, really enjoy competitive battling and I like doing it in Sword and Shield. I haven't done much of it yet, but from what I've watched from other people, it looks really fun. And I want to breed competitive Pokemon for battling other people and also battling in the battle tower, because I think the battle tower is something that because my goal is to 100% Pokemon Sword and Shield, and I have like a big list of things that I need to do, and one of them is complete the get to Master Ball rank in all of the battle tower formulas. And I want to breed a competitive team before I do that to make it more interesting and more easy for me, because the battle tower isn't messing around. I fought a few battles, obviously, with my team that I used to beat the game. Obviously, none of them have like great IVs or the perfect nature or the perfect move sets. I just kind of did what I thought was good for them as I was playing through the game. And it was difficult. My team doesn't really have the greatest synergy because, like I said, it wasn't like a competitively bred team. And a lot of the trainers, as you go up in the ranks in the battle tower, are actually very difficult. I struggled against Leon. I had to face him like 5 times before I finally beat him because of his Charizard. I finally realized that I could just put Stealth Rocks down and like absolutely destroy his Charizard, but until I realized that I could do that, and the thing about it is that his teams and everyone's teams, if you lose against somebody and you go back in, they're not going to have the same team as they did before, or you're not going to be fighting the same person that you did before. And with Leon, he had like 4 or 5 different teams that he cycled through, so you didn't know what you were going to fight, so you couldn't prepare yourself for it. And I think that's really smart, and I'm excited. I'm very, very excited to continue doing more battle tower in the future. Once I have a chance to breed a competitive Pokemon team, I will do it and enjoy myself, because I really enjoy battling. And I think that I never did the battle tower when I was younger. I can't think of one game where I did the battle tower, and I want that to be different. The battle tower was always something that I didn't do in Pokemon because I was never super into competitive battling until recently. And I didn't get into competitive Pokemon battling until Sun and Moon, and I just never got to the battle tower because I was too busy on like Pokemon Showdown and on online on Sun and Moon, so I never wanted to do the battle tower. But now I want to, and I want to see how it goes, and I'm excited to do it. And like I said, I will get back to you on my experiences with it if I ever decide to do it. But overall, I think it's cool. I think it's fun. I don't know how it compares to other battle towers because, like I said, I never did any of them. But if you have any comments, be sure to let me know. If you're watching this like on YouTube or something, or you can message me on Twitter or at me on Twitter if you have any opinions. I'd be happy to listen to them. And also the music is absolutely amazing. So yeah, battle tower. Almost done. Like I said, this episode's probably not going to be super long because I want to keep it short. Finish up this episode. I know I've also just been talking about pretty much the same thing every episode. I've just been talking about Sword and Shield, and while it is topical, I'm sure people want me to start talking about, and I want to also start talking about other things other than just talking about the mechanics of Sword and Shield, and instead talk a little bit more in depth about certain things instead of doing an overview kind of thing. But I need to finish, so I'm going to just finish this up quickly, and then we can move on to other things. But I do want to finalize this and give a good conclusion. So the Pokemon camping and the curry making, I think I talked about it last time when I was talking about like mechanics and gameplay, but I wanted to maybe just do a little bit more elaborating, because I did complete my living dex and I had to do a lot of curry making to raise friendship with Pokemon, because there's a lot of Pokemon Sword and Shield that need friendship raised. Like Snom, for example, I had to get 3 Frosmoths because one of the Frosmoths I was using was on my team. I needed 1 for my living dex, and then I think I needed to trade one of them to an NPC to get a Pokemon I didn't have. I don't remember what the trade was, but I decided. So I had to raise 3 Snoms, and like raising friendship in Sword and Shield is actually pretty difficult to do it very quickly. Not difficult. It's okay. But like. And curry is the best way of doing that, and that ended up being what I did for raising friendship, just feeding them curry over and over again and giving them a soothe bell. It worked good, and I found a good way to make the best curry. There's a lot of curry guides out there, and I followed most of them essentially if you want to know like how I did it. And I still haven't reached Charizard class. I really want to get at least 1 curry with Charizard class, and I still have to complete the curry dex. I've been trying to go through and doing them in order based on what ingredients I have, and doing like each of the flavors, like sour, bitter, sweet, all that kind of stuff. And it's been fun. I actually really enjoy making the curry and making gathering the berries to make all of the different kinds of curry. And if you haven't considered doing the curry dex, I recommend it. It's actually very fun. In my opinion, I think it's like I said, I think it's fun to like gather the berries and go around memorizing where all the berry trees are and getting all the berries and then cooking with them and getting the ingredients from talking to people and buying them from the BP dudes or the wild area dudes. It's a fun little like side mini game type thing, and it's a really, really good alternative to Pokemon and me, in my opinion. I think it's more interactive than it ever was, obviously. And camping in general is much more interactive than it ever was with the, them walking around and interacting with each other, and you can play with them. It's very, very fun. It's something that I hope that they do more in the future, and I don't doubt that they'll do more in the future. I really, really enjoy it. And last but not least, I'm going to talk a little bit about my experiences with what I have been doing after the fact, after the game. After I finished everything. So I have been trying to complete the game 100%. And what that entails for me, I made up my own personal challenge. I never really did anything. I never looked up like a guide on how to 100% Pokemon Sword and Shield, and it doesn't have like a specific way of doing so. But the checklist that I came up with is the living dex, or the Pokedex first off, which I did. The living dex, which is collecting 1 of every Pokemon. The curry dex, picking up every item and TM on the ground. Doing every battle, so like every trainer in the overworld and after the fact and stuff. Maybe not the battle tower, but like every battle possible with NPCs that aren't like renewable. All the league cards, all of the backgrounds and like assets for league cards. Getting 1 of every Gigantamax Pokemon, getting Master Ball rank in everything, which is in the battle tower, in each of the either double or singles, and also I believe like online you can get Master Ball rank in like online battles. So doing that, and getting the Catching Charm, the Shiny Charm, and the Oval Charm, which I've gotten all 3 of them. After completing the game, you get the Shiny Charm for completing the Pokedex. You get the Catching Charm in one of the hotels in Chichester, and the Oval Charm is also from someone in Chichester, but you have to battle them, and they have a pretty hard team. Yeah, I fought them with I think I fought them with only 4 Pokemon on accident, and I still won, but it was really hard. It was down to the wire. And I had to do some cheesy tactics. I think he has like a full team of 6 Pokemon, and it's actually really difficult. It's like a good team, so prepare yourself if you're planning on doing that. But what I've been doing recently, if you've been watching my streams on twitch.tv/Lillieceon, wink wink, I've been doing shiny hunting recently. I'm making a sort of like a team for myself, like a gym. I'm making like a gym leader team. I have like a gym leader character that I've made. She's an ice type gym leader, and I'm making a mock-up team for her. Which is like, and I'm doing like a competitive team, like an actual breeding for perfect IVs, for perfect nature, perfect ability, her hidden ability for most of them, and also breeding them for shiny. So that's been taking up most of my time. Right now I'm breeding for a Eevee, shiny Eevee, so I can evolve it into a Galarian, because Galarian, of course, is my favorite Pokemon, if you know me. And if I'm doing an ice type gym leader, which is my favorite type, I have to do a Galarian. How can I not? And it has to be shiny. So what's been taking up most of my time is breeding for perfect IVs, which hasn't been hard. And I got lucky with this because the Gigantamax Eevee that you get from having save data on Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee has perfect IVs. And so does the Pikachu. So all I had to do was find a hidden ability Eevee from a max raid battle, which, if you don't know, certain Pokemon in max raid battles can have a chance of having their hidden ability. Thankfully, I was extremely lucky. Eevee is a very, very low chance in a max raid battle, and I ended up getting my hidden ability Eevee on my first try. And I'm pretty sure it's like a 5% chance of getting its hidden ability. I got it on my first try, my first Eevee, and I was very, very happy about that. I ended up getting a foreign Ditto with like 4 perfect IVs from some very nice stranger. And so I took this hidden ability Eevee and I bred it with the perfect Eevee, the Gigantamax Eevee, which of course it doesn't pass down its Gigantamax properties, but that's not what I was worried about. And I bred it until I got the best hidden ability that I possibly could, or the best IVs that I possibly could, which I think was like 5 perfect ones. On this Eevee, and now I'm breeding it with my foreign 4 perfect IV Ditto, and so what I'm hoping for is a female, which is a 1 in 8 chance, mind you, female hidden ability, which is a 50% chance, perfect IV, which I don't know the chances for, but it's low because most of the EVs that I'm getting right now are like 3 perfect IV, 4 perfect IV, but then again I can always use bottle caps on them. Perfect nature, which if I don't get it, I can use a mint on it, which is, so that's not really, I'm not worried about that. Shiny Eevee. And so I'm going all out on this Eevee. And, it's something that I really, really, really want. And so that's been taking up most of my time in Pokemon Sword and Shield recently. I streamed a little bit of it. I know, like, if you don't know what I'm talking about and that was very confusing for you, don't worry about it. I kind of just wanted to get my thoughts out there. That wasn't like a, it's going to be on the test type situation. I just wanted to share. And if you don't know how to breed and that sounds intriguing to you, look up breeding guides on YouTube. There's one from A-Drive, and it's very, very good and very easy to use. It's kind of what I used a little bit to kind of refresh myself with how to breed in Pokemon, because I hadn't done it in like a long time. But it's been fun. I really enjoy breeding and like hunting for, I've always really enjoyed like shiny, like, trying to get like perfect IV, hidden ability, rare shiny Pokemon. I'm like an avid shiny hunter. So it's been really fun doing that, especially in Sword and Shield. There's a lot of things that make it very easy. Like the max raid battles, getting hidden abilities. The max raid battles are fun and they give you like cool things. Even if you don't like get your hidden ability Pokemon, you can still catch cool Pokemon and like get cool like rare candies and XP candies and stuff, and like really good like TMs and stuff to give your other Pokemon. So it's rewarding even to just hunt for hidden ability Pokemon. And shiny hunting is always just really fun to me. So it's sort of a win-win situation, and it's been really, really fun to get back into it. And if you haven't already, if you haven't done that sort of stuff and dabbled in breeding for shinies or hunting for shinies or anything like that, I recommend that you do. And so that's sort of what's been taking up most of my time. That's sort of what I've been interested in doing in Pokemon Sword and Shield recently. And it's been very, very enjoyable. Like, the post game, you know, like what to do after you've already completed everything there is to do. Me shiny hunting, looking for perfect IV, or breeding for perfect IVs or for shinies, looking for hidden ability Pokemon, looking for shinies in max raid battles, completing the game 100%, quote unquote, doing the battle tower, doing the curry decks. There's a lot of things to do post game. You know what I mean? Like after the quote unquote post game. There's a lot of things to do, and for that I really congratulate them, the Game Freak, for making a lot of things. And then again, a lot of this stuff was present in other games like the battle tower and breeding for shinies and, you know, perfect IV Pokemon, but the introduction of max raid battles and the curry decks is good, and it's something that we just need. It's much better than Pokemon Refresh, Pokemon Ami, and also like the I forget what they're called, but like the islands. The islands were kind of boring in Sun and Moon. they didn't really like allow you to be interactive, but in like the curry decks and the camping and all that stuff, it's much more interactive, and it feels better to actually do that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And it's good. You know, that sort of aspect of a game where you can do a lot after the fact is very, very good. And finally, I'm going to sort of wrap up everything that I've talked about this last few episodes, these last 6 weeks of Evocast. You know, we in the first week we talked about the new Pokemon. We talked about the more game mechanics centered thing and also story focused things in episode 2. And now this was sort of wrapping up other things that I didn't have a chance to talk about last time because I hadn't finished the game yet and all that stuff. But I think, honestly, that I've talked about this game way more than I should have, or maybe not that I should have, way more. I've done this review way longer than I should have. And thank you for sticking around for so long. If you have already, if you've been following this series of episodes the past 6 weeks, I thank you for making it this far, listening to me ramble about this new game and how much I love it. So what do I think about Pokemon Sword and Shield? It's amazing. I've said it before and I will say it again. It's amazing. There's a few weak points. The story was one of them. A little bit of the music. Other than that, though, really the only other big argument that I can really vouch for is the whole no national Pokedex thing. But you know my thoughts about that. We've talked about that before. And also, you know, I have hope in the future that they'll do something about that. Even if they don't, I still think that Pokemon Sword and Shield is it's certainly not a masterpiece, and it's obviously not perfect, but it is one of the best Pokemon games so far, in my opinion. It holds the place for, one of the best Pokemon games so far. I can't rank it right now. I don't know. I have a ranking of where my favorite Pokemon games stand. Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald is my favorite. Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee is my second favorite, and Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire my third favorite. I love my Generation 3, and I really liked Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. Anyway, we're not talking about this today. Focus, Lillie. Jesus. But it doesn't, I don't know where I can put it on my favorite list, on my favorites list. I mean, I don't know what ranking it has. It hasn't been out for that long yet. But overall, I think it is a very, very good game. I think, you know, that I'm sort of an optimist when it comes to this kind of stuff, and I'm going to stay true to that and give this game an 8 out of 10. My final sort of ranking for this game is an 8 out of 10, a generous 8 out of 10, I think. And I think that that's sort of universal. A lot of the reviews that I've seen for this game have been like 8 out of 10, some of them a little lower, some of them a little higher, some of them very low, but, you know, that's from people who, you know, maybe aren't too happy about certain things. But, you know, there's always going to be super low and super high reviews, and you have to find the average. And I think that in my heart, an 8 out of 10 is perfect. I might be able to rank it a little bit higher, if I'm being honest with you, like an 8.5, maybe even a 9. But I think that 8 is a good place to stand. And yeah, I mean, I don't really know what else to say. You know my feelings about a lot of the stuff. You know how I feel about almost everything in this game. I've talked about almost every feature in this game. It feels like I've just like milked it dry. But don't worry, I got plenty of stuff to talk about in later episodes about this game. It's the newest Pokemon game. You know I'm not going to stop talking about it for a long time. But other than that, I don't really know much else to say about this game, except that it's really, really good, and my final ranking is an 8 out of 10. So before we wrap up here, I'm going to do one more segment of the day, for the day I mean, and that, of course, is Move Tutor, everybody's favorite segment where we talk about a random move every episode, and then after that I will finish it up. So the move on the chopping block today is move number 308, Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon is a damage-dealing Water-type move introduced in Generation 3. Only Water-type fully evolved starter Pokemon can learn this move. It is a special move. It has a PP of 5, a accuracy of 90%, and a power of 150. Hydro Cannon, of course, being the one of the 3 moves that the starters can learn if their friendship is maximized. I believe it's like Frenzy Plant is the grass one. Hydro Cannon, of course, is this water one, and I can't remember what the fire one is. I need to know this. I really need to know this. What is the fire one? Blast Burn. Of course, it's Blast Burn. Okay, yes. So Hydro Cannon, it doesn't really do much other than that. Hydro Cannon inflicts damage and then forces the user to recharge during the next turn. Unless this attack misses, this user will always have to recharge. So it's just like a water type Hyper Beam. It's a very, very strong move, except that it forces them to recharge. Hydro Cannon can be used as a part of the Pokemon Context combination when the user gaining extra 4 appeal points if the move Rain Dance was used in the prior turn. And a few of the descriptions, actually, they're pretty much all the same thing. The target is hit by a watery blast. The user can't move on the next turn. They're pretty much all the same. Literally the entire... all of the descriptions are this. It just worded a little bit differently, so I'm not going to go through it. So yeah, Hydro Cannon. It's the starter big move that you teach your water-type Pokemon if their friendship is maximized at the end of the game. Nothing really much else to say. And with that, I thank you so much for listening. I hope you all have a happy holidays. And if you're, like I said, if you're not listening to this on Christmas or anywhere close to the holidays, I hope you have a good day regardless. Thank you so much for listening. I will see you next time. Bye!